The golf world was outraged with this ruling, Bob. Rory McIlroy calling it a ridiculous, saying it's crap, amateur hour from the USGA. Jordan Spieth as well, throwing them under the bus, calling it an absolute joke. I can't agree with them more. Ricky Fowler chiming in, Tiger Woods chimed in. I think the entire golf world was up in arms and so upset about this for multiple reasons. One, first of all, I believe they got their own rule incorrect. They talk about virtual evidence or weighing the evidence and being virtually certain of things when you read the decision book. Now, the rule is written 18-2 that a player must have moved his ball in order for it to be a penalty. If the player did not cause the ball to move, you play it where it lies without penalty. Dustin Johnson said it's on the player, the integrity. There was no evidence at all to prove that Dustin Johnson moved that golf ball on his own. He said to the official, I didn't move it. The official said, play it where it lies. The rule was done. They moved on. Then they get into their boardroom, they get into their closed doors, they look at videotape, they think there might be something going on. Nothing there was virtually certain. Then they hold it over the entire tournament's head, including the leader. They make him play the last 6 holes, not knowing where he stands. They make the field chasing him, not knowing where they stand. For an organization that is trying to grow the game constantly, talking about simplifying things, making it fun, they made a whole afternoon broadcast miserable for the globe, trying to figure out what this leaderboard looked like. Good on Dustin Johnson, proving he was way stronger between the years than any of us ever gave him credit for. If he can win this one under that shadow of the USGA, he can win anything.
You okay?
Oh my, this is going to be with me for a while.
Well, I can tell you, to me, there's 2 parts to this. The 2 parts really are, one, the application of the rule itself. The rule itself is poorly written. It allows for subjectivity, and it allows for, basically, you have the guy being guilty before he's been proven innocent. And in this situation, Dustin Johnson says, I didn't make the ball move. Lee Westwood confirms, I didn't make the ball move. The official walking with them says, okay, that's fine, we'll go on. Then you have the whole problem with telling him in the middle of the round that we're not sure what's going to be happening. If they had come to him on the 12th tee and said, we've reviewed this, we believe you caused it, it's going to be a 1-shot penalty, it would have been much better than what they did to give him this limbo area that he's going to be hanging in.
I agree with you completely. Even though it would have been wrong and the ruling was judged incorrectly, in my opinion, I think you need evidence to penalize somebody, not a hunch.
Right.
And you're deciding a championship on a hunch and removing the integrity of the player, what he said. It was doubled up on how bad it was because of the way they handled it, hanging it over the field. And I'll tell you something else too, Bob, that upset me. And I know you're going to get into this later on in your Winners, Weird and What, so I won't dive into it too much. But Mike Davis obviously came out with some type of apology later on. Mike Davis was nowhere to be found on Sunday. He's the leader of this organization. He's the first guy there taking the credit when it's the Mike Davis Open, when he's setting up the golf course. We don't know who else sets up any of the other majors. We all know Mike Davis's involvement with the USGA and the US Open. Why wasn't Mike Davis standing front and center, taking the heat and dealing with the controversy on national, international television Sunday afternoon?
There was very little explanation, I think, really. There was some guys obviously came on, some of their rules officials came on to try and explain the rule. The rule actually was modified just this year to try and make it a little bit more lenient. In fact, before, if you had grounded it and the wind grounded your club and the wind blew the ball away and you hadn't caused it to move, you were still given the penalty. But what they did was bring this subjectivity into it. So essentially, the rules officials looked at this and said, by looking at what Dustin Johnson did beside the ball, moving his club, we think he moved it, and therefore we believe he is guilty. Not believe. We are going to basically say he is guilty, and that's, to me, where I have the problem. You're basically calling Dustin Johnson a liar, or you're at worst or at best, you're really infringing on his integrity.
Yeah, his character is in question now,
right,
which shouldn't be. And I'll do you one better. The day before, on Saturday, Shane Lowry called it on himself, saying, I caused the ball to move. He verbalized that. So the penalty is in play because the player deemed that he caused the ball to move. So your integrity is fine as a player governing yourself when you apply a penalty to yourself. But when you give yourself the benefit of the doubt and you know that you didn't move it, now all of a sudden your character is in question. This stinks. It's garbage. Rewrite it. Clean it up, get your act together, and if we're trying to make this game fun and getting people involved, that wasn't the way to do it, Bob. We didn't even get into the fact that the golfers shouldn't even have been out there on Thursday, and the USGA dropping the ball with the on-again, off-again start and stops on Thursday. We should have done 2 hours today. I could have wrapped it.